a rainwater catchment system for our chickens. We're going to add it to our coop. It's going to be super simple and super efficient. It's going to take us less than 45 minutes, less than $75. It's going to be 2 10-foot pieces of gutter, a downspout, and also a rain barrel that we already have.
What's up, folks? Today I am putting together a water recycling or collection system for Kristen. That way we can have the rainwater collected and put into basically a big 55-gallon rain barrel, and then Kristen can turn around and take that water and use it for her garden. So I went to Lowe's and I bought several pieces of gutter system, trying to piece that together, make it the right dimensions, and then I'll go ahead and turn around and put it on the chicken coop. And that's going to be the area where we collect the rainwater coming off the top of the chicken coop and into the barrel. And then, like I said, she will turn around and use that water to help water the garden, just trying to recycle it. The water from the rainwater is much better for our plants than the water that's going to come out of a garden hose from your city or your well or so on and so forth. So the nutrients there, if we can collect that and reuse that on a garden, is going to definitely help make the garden grow a lot better, and lightens the water bill. So I bought 2 sticks of gutter. It's like a brown color. I put 1 stick together, and on the end of it I added a small piece here that will allow me to be able to put in a downspout, and then I put a cap on the end of that and got all that screwed in. And then over here I'm going to take on this piece, I'm going to connect this piece here, connect this piece, and I'm going to connect it to that one, make sure it's the right length. I'm looking for about 17 feet. Get that all tied in, and then I'm going to cap the end of that one with this here, just like I did on the end of that. So let me show you what I just did. So on this particular one, I took this outer rib and I actually took it and pried it out this way, giving me a much wider gap. And I'm going to take this one here, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to slide it in on here, and I'm going to shove it up underneath in this gap here. That way I had the 2 pieces sort of bonded together to make sure that on a long 17-foot run there's less sag. I'll get it all screwed in, and then the way I've got the water running is I'm going to have the water running from this way going that direction. So I'm going to bring, when I actually put it on the chicken coop, this end is going to be higher than that end. That way the water runs down, and I'm taking this and I'm putting it inside here. That way when the water collects on this side, it runs down and into this one. That way it's not going backwards and up underneath this when it's sitting in it, because I want all the water to flow downhill. So by putting it inside, overlapping it this way, I will have less opportunity for water to be able to come out in the wrong direction. The lip's too big, so I'm probably going to have to cut a portion of that lip off to get it to go where I need it to go. So this should make this a little easier. This is actually a tool specifically used for cutting sheet metal. Just stick it on the end of your drill, and I don't know if you can see right here, there's it's basically like a set of scissors, and when you pull it, it cuts. It's got a quick connect on the back that goes right inside your drill. and it allows it to cut, and it should cut a little faster. Let's see. So keep in mind, anytime you're messing with sheet metal, it can be very, very sharp. So make sure to be mindful of any like burrs that may happen to come up, or when you're cutting with the, I guess we'll call it the Malco tool, which is sort of the zip cutter, or whether you're cutting with just a regular pair of sheet metal scissors, that you can always get burrs, and sometimes you get little pieces that stick up. Those can jab you, stick you, cut you. It also creates an edge whenever you're cutting, so you don't want to run your finger down it, or run as you're cutting, you don't want to run your hand down the side and potentially cut your hand. Safety is always the most important aspect of whatever we do, and by being mindful of that, less opportunity to hurt yourself. And watch, now that I said that, I might hurt myself. So with this, like I mentioned, I was able to pry this back. I cut this edge off here, and this will slide up inside of here, and then I'll be able to pinch it in. So I'm taking it and I'm sliding it up underneath here, all the way to the point at which I need it here. And once it's slid, I'm going to sort of snap it in place and make sure it locks, and then I'll take this edge and I'll pinch it down. So now one gutter is sitting inside the other gutter, and because it's such a long run, when I pinch it down and I screw it down, it will be a lot less likely to sag. Zip screws, I'm actually coming on the bottom side and coming up towards this lip to bond it and just have less less stuff protruding out in the well, so that the water can run smoothly and it doesn't catch a lot of debris like leaves and pine straw and so on. Where this is going to go on top of the chicken coop, I'm not putting a gutter guard kind of system on it, so it's going to collect leaves and stuff. I'll just have to come by and just rake it out every now and then. Now that I've got that put together, I'm going to take this cap and put the cap on the end. That way I can get it closed off and then pinch it down. So I'm taking this cap, I'm going to shove it here. Got to play with it a little bit just to get it in right in that groove the way it needs to be. right in. I guess when all else fails, use a hammer and brute force. Now you can see what I did on the end is I slid this here, slid this into place finally, and then I took a screw and the screw went through one side of the cap with the metal and the other side of the cap, and it's on the outside. That way it's not on the inside, and no chance of possibly catching any debris, so on. It's just going to be on the outside. What I'm probably going to do, just in case, I mean, it's going to be in a chicken coop. It don't have to be perfect, but I'm probably going to come back with some form of like a rubber caulk and rubber caulk these, and maybe get like a some type of little grinder or something, and see if I can't grind those down. Get like a little rat tail file and put the file on it. That'll ground that edge off and less likely to stick somebody later down the road. All right. Perfect.
A very important helper when you're out in the south and it's hot and it's humid is a thermocell. If not, the mosquitoes are just gonna eat you up.
I figure what I'd go ahead and do is put some pavers down. That way I can set the rain barrel on top of that, raises it up just slightly up off the ground, and it'll be basically a nice base instead of it sitting directly on the ground.
Watch out for spiders over there.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
All right, cool. Perfect. All right, so what I have here is some leftover gutter piping, downspout piping, if you will, from when we had originally built the house. I like to save everything. You just never know what you're going to need and when you're going to need it. So in this particular case, I had the pipe, and I also had this piece that fixed into this pipe. Luckily, on this particular one here, this is actually a smaller end of a gutter. Normally your gutters are a lot bigger, but this is actually a smaller end, which works out great because I saved some pieces from, like I said before, and it's actually got a smaller opening. So this is actually going to fit right on top of this, or right into this, and then I'm going to bring it down into the actual rain barrel. Something else that I did, which might sound a little bit weird, but these are little angle brackets that are from house blinds. So what I'm actually going to do is take these little angle brackets, and I'm going to screw into the top of this on both sides, and then into the plastic piping in order to hold it right over the top of this, so the water gets directed into the barrel and doesn't really go all over the place. So on top of this is a screen. Leaving the screen on here This screen will help filter out a lot of the trash. It doesn't get everything out, but it does help filter out a lot of the we'll say leaves, debris, pine straw, so on and so forth. So the water that we gather here, that water is going to be used for the garden and for possibly feeding the chickens and the ducks, or watering the chickens and the ducks, and so on. So like I said, it doesn't have to be completely 100% clean. It's not like filtered. We're not drinking it ourselves, but it will serve its purpose, the screen itself, to help keep some of the trash out and allow us to be able to get the water through the hose and out when we need it. So I've screwed most everything down just to make sure we're not having any potential issues with stuff that, you know, pops off or comes off or so on. So the reducer that went onto this is screwed into this, as well as the downspout itself. The plastic pipe that goes on the reducer, I've got it screwed in on both sides. The downspout that comes from the gutter here, I've got it screwed in on both sides. That way we just eliminate any potential for something to pop off or get or come loose, so we can, you know, have the system do exactly what it needs to do as we go through it. So, something I do think I am going to run into is I think it's going to be a little bit too long. So I'm probably going to have to get me a knife so that I can take and cut it and do what I need. It's going to be too long. So I want to get a knife. Alright, so I opted not to get a knife. I walked about 10 feet and realized I still have my Sawzall. So in this case, I'm going to take and get a rough guesstimate here. I'm going to get a Sawzall. Yay! Sawzall worked. Ha! Look at that. It's almost like you planned it that way. So now, I'm going to take my little bracket from the blinds. Woo! As it pops up and hits me. I'm going to put my little bracket down in there. Look at that. How about that? That's funny. I'll take it. Look at that. All right. One side down. One to go. So the other thing is there's a hole right here underneath the screen, and the hole is actually about the size of the tube. I'm just trying to make sure I've got it centered over the top of that hole the way it needs to be, so as much water goes into the hole and doesn't necessarily come out, hit, and go all around. It's going to happen. Not all water is going to go absolutely 100% into the barrel, but if I can minimize how much comes out and on the ground, that means I get more inside the barrel, which is what we're going for. Perfect. And in case you're wondering what this is, these are just little tiny zip screws. I think I mentioned that before earlier in the video. They're like a little stainless steel zip screw, and it works out really well. It goes through metal, goes through plastic, and it gets the job done. So our system is now officially complete.
Now we're going to try out our rainwater system. We don't know when the next time we're going to get rain, and I want to make sure that it's going to work, so we're going to use the hose. And Michael is going to try to fill up or somewhat fill up the barrel with the water hose.
going downhill.
Yeah? Oh, you can hear it.
And it's going in. Look at that. Look at that crap. I'll take that all day. That's beautiful. I love it when a plan comes together.